We fucked up. Well, we didn't actually fuck up, but we actually tried to
Internet
record.
issue,
Yeah, my internet is shit.
minor issue, but we're still here.
AT&T, you are on fraud watch. But
The
other than
night
that,
before game day,
yeah,
and we're
how do
just
we
doing
feel?
a combination of a game recap from last week, but also a little bit of a preview. So we can kind of just jump straight into. I know obviously the excitement's went off a little bit, but John, my
Yeah,
friend,
we
we
can be
saw
a little
Jaguars
bit
win in
quicker.
person.
Yeah, we can be a little bit quicker with the recap. Let me see if I miss anything here. Run offense, fantastic. Pass offense, lit before two delays between an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, I
Uh,
thought the passing offense looked better in the first half, specifically before the delay. And
mhm.
then after everything was just clunky. But hey, they ran for 200 yards. So,
But the fact is, after we turned the ball over, we gave 0 points up after Trevor's only mistake in the game. Well, probably two mistakes in that one drive. Hey, that's a wonderful thing to have complimentary football for the first time in Trevor's career. Even if it's just a one game sample, that's what you kind of want to see. And defense, fantastic. They bent a little bit, but they never broke. And that's all I can really ask for in the NFL.
yeah, I mean, I know we're trying to do a little bit of a quick recap, but definitely want to highlight just the Liam Cohen's first game. You rushed for 200 yards. Hopefully that can just set the tone of what he wants his team to be. And obviously the passing game wasn't perfect, but the fact they're able just to salt the game away and run the ball very well was that was definitely the highlight of just watching the game because I remember seeing a stat. It was the third lowest passing yards Trevor Lawrence has had in a win. So, obviously, are you
Sorry,
watching the game?
Gators game is on. They just did a nasty third and one stop. So I was like, I'm just trying, like I said, expectations. Jaguars great, Gators not so much, but hey, uh, you know,
But yeah, even just going back to how, like, I can't even remember the last time we were able to see the Jags run the ball that well, that effectively, and kind of just impose their will. Because honestly, even during the preview, I was thinking, okay, Carolina has some good defensive tackles. I don't know how well they're going to run the ball unless they try to stretch everything outside, but they're able to get some good inside runs. I mean, that 70-yard run from ETN. I'm still a little bit mad he didn't get all the way, but I mean, they still scored a touchdown, so it wasn't the end of the
we had a
world.
70-yard run. We haven't had a run like that and God knows how long.
I think the longest run I can recall. Well, I remember the James Robinson run versus the Chargers. That was like 50
We
yards.
had a tank 60-yard touchdown
Yeah,
last
the
year.
tank run was 60 last year versus the Colts, which we'll get to Tank Bigsby later, but
So I'm kind of
just
glad our recording kind of failed because we do
yeah,
got to talk about the
but
state of the
we'll
running offense
we'll,
after
we'll
such a
get there soon.
successful week one for sure.
But even just even though the passing game was probably like a C plus B minus passing game, the fact that the running game was able to effectively just chew the clock away and did what they needed to do, that was a very refreshing change. And even Cohen going from Tampa's running game being bottom five last year to now they're top five, like the year when they with Cohen. So if we can even just see some of the running game transformations really take shape, and what I noticed a lot is just they're on so many plays, you're just seeing somebody go in motion. And that to me is the biggest change because compared to, I remember seeing there was a tweet by Ian Hartitz, I believe, and he was saying, let me just pull it up really quickly, that one of the biggest changes was that in pre-snap motion, the 2024 Jags were the third most static offense, which I feel it would have been the most static or whatever.
Yeah,
But this year they were the
for
eighth
week one.
or the yeah, they were or they didn't say like how much, but they put 42% motion to 60% motion. So they went from third least to like now eighth. So instead of 29th or eighth in motion rate, which is a huge noticeable jump. And you're watching the plays, and even just a little motions can tote the linebacker, which can let a run open up. So I'm really excited to see the running game. And we got to talk about the defense though, because Camp played a pretty well game. It was almost 33 to three, which um, you know, even though I have been a Wingard hater on the past, that is kind of sucked to get a pick six taken away.
Yeah.
But
We were kind of laughing about it when we were recording initially, but it's just like, yeah, after like times pass, you don't want ever want our guys to be robbed of scoring touchdowns, even if it is
Right.
Andrew
It
Wingard.
didn't make a difference, but it would have been cooler for the stat sheet.
I feel like we have a love-hate relationship with Andrew Wingard. It's probably just because he's a
I
little
wouldn't
bit,
say love.
I
It's
won't
like
say,
okay.
yeah, just like a tall, it's a tolerable. I don't know, it's because he's like cringe, and because we have an annoying portion of the fan base that
There's just
kind
he
of
has
puts him in a
stands
higher,
for
yeah,
some. But you know what? If
I get
he
it.
makes plays, I will try not to slander him. So
Exactly. He was in the right places, didn't give up any bad plays in the NFL as a safety. That's all I can really ask for.
even just the safety, just the secondary as a whole, they were in the right place most of the time. I'm not saying they were perfect,
Hmm.
but Eric Murray played. I didn't think he was going to be an outstanding player, but he made some plays. He had the pass breakup to force the interception, had the hit on Hunter Renfro, and he was just generally in the right position. I mean, he did miss the tackle on the Chuba play, but it's better than last year where the safeties are just all out of position every single time. So at least the fact the safeties were in the right spot when they needed to be is a
Hmm.
noticeable step up. I mean, Foye had a AFC Defensive Player of the Week for a reason. Foye played with his hair on fire. He had a little bit of an injury scare, but if he's healthy, man, Foye played great. I know the linebackers they rotated Devin Lloyd and Ventrell, but neither of them played a ton of snaps. They played a lot of dime with more safeties in,
Yeah.
which I think we'll probably see more dime to combat the Bengals passing attack. So I thought the D line as a whole played okay. I know Josh Hines had a lot of good pressures. I don't think Trevon really did anything, which is he was playing against a pretty solid right tackle in Taylor Moton, but Smoot did have a sack though, which was great to see Smoot have.
He
Like
had
the
a
one sack they
TFL,
had,
he had a TFL and sack back-to-back
the
plays.
one sack they had was from Dewan Smoot of all people, which solid player, but not what you expect. But if you can just have more depth guys step up and make plays, that's huge. So I think
Mm.
defensive wise, I'd give them a B grade, and then offense, rushing defense, I would probably give a
Rushing
B
offense.
minus.
Yeah.
Passing defense, I'd give a
Oh.
B plus, and then there were a few throws like guys were open. There could have been more plays made, but also Bryce Young throwing the ball away on fourth and goal. I think that's hilarious. I'm sorry. Like I want Bryce to be good, but I'm sorry, that's hilarious.
Hmm.
I hope you have a great 16-week stretch after this, which will make our defense look even better. So I hope Bryce turns it around. But
Yeah, that's to this. If any game is going to be a test for the defense, Joe Burrow and the Bengals is a pretty good test to see what it is. I know they only had like 140 something yards of total offense last week, but it's still Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. They can light it up
they still
anytime they
have,
want.
yeah, the best, if not the best wide receiver duo in the league. And
Hmm.
then Chase Brown is starting to really flash as a running back too. I mean, the offense, yeah, Bengals offense as a whole didn't play great, but at the same time, it is weak. It's just kind of funny that they they almost lost to the Browns, who they missed an extra point and a field goal. So if the
Hmm.
Browns had an extra kicker, they would have lost. But
Hmm.
yeah, the Bengals, even though they tried their hardest to play better in the season, they still look terrible and almost lost. But at the same time, it is week one. I don't want to overreact to week one too much and say they're going to look terrible again tomorrow, guaranteed. But we'll definitely see. But just coming from the game and seeing how everything was going, there's definitely a lot of encouraging signs. And then I definitely want to talk about the running back situation because, as we know, Tank Bigsby rest. No, he's not dead. He's just in Philadelphia.
I don't know what's worse. I'm sorry. I should not say that. But, Super Bowl champs probably don't have to do too much besides kick returning duties unless, God forbid, something could happen to Saquon Barkley. But hey, good situation to be. Even though that practice clip on the first practice he arrived in the Eagles was not encouraging. So, you saw
Yeah,
that
but
clip, right? I think we all saw that clip.
the fact that they were, because when people talked about, especially Ship was talking about, are they in a trade on running backs, and everybody thought that ETN was being traded. Exaggerate rumors of his demise were greatly exaggerated. That's all I'm. Everybody was saying ETN would be traded. It was two in season. And I remember one of the few people were saying they might trade Tank. And
Yeah,
I literally remember I had a YouTube comment, like it was a Mean and Time show, and I responded saying, oh, Tank could also be traded. And the comment was like, it's probably going to be ETN.
we just hear things. The fact you outed one of our sources is crazy, but who's gonna watch this? I'm just kidding. Can you imagine?
No,
But
he didn't. That
the
wasn't anything.
article, yeah,
That was in an
he did.
article.
I was gonna say he
He
did
was
write about it.
theorizing that Tank would be traded for which. So I was kind of like, okay. But obviously now it's ETN who came off one of the best games he's had in a while. We see Tootin, we see Quinn Allen, who I think Quinn Allen played more snaps on third down or just than Tootin did,
Hmm.
which kind of makes sense given the roles. And then without Tank, they're still probably going to feel comfortable in giving some of the short yardage situations to LeQuint and Tootin because I think both of those guys were had some solid flashes. So I think LeQuint had a third. Both Tootin and LeQuint had third down plays. And I remember LeQuint also had a really nice blitz pickup too,
Oh
which
yeah.
is huge. Having considering that like none of the running backs are able to pass protect. If they have one guy who can do that, then we'll take that. But even though the offense wasn't perfect, they still put up 26 points.
The fact
And
that LeQuint Allen had more snaps than Bashal Tootin just kind of screams about the ability they think that they have in LeQuint Allen in that specialized role he's gonna have on third downs. So, it was a pleasure to see that they had a game plan and it worked. You can't say that a lot about last season watching Doug Peterson and Press Taylor's offense. So that's a great start for the year, for sure.
yeah, and just really seeing the offense flow, even though it wasn't perfect, and there definitely was more meat left on the bone in the passing game, they still were able to put up 26 points in the game. Definitely felt as if, okay, they're doing something right.
Hmm.
So I
It never felt like that our lead was in danger once we took over, and that's what you
It
want to
never
feel.
felt like that way, but because I'm just used to expecting the worst, I just have to clench my cheeks even though I knew it was probably over because it's the Jags. I hope not, but they did fine. So
Hmm.
overall, I'd probably give the team a B grade, and obviously I don't. Well, maybe the Panthers bounce back and look better in the season, especially if they get Equanu and Coker back. But just as a whole, how the team looks. I don't want to. I'm trying so hard not to drink the Kool Aid, John. I'm trying to be a moderate, temperate fan and not have too high expectations. But
Hmm.
I really do think they have a shot to beat the Bengals. I'm not saying they're guaranteed to. The Bengals will probably the Bengals should be favored for a reason. But I think there's a shot the Jags could win this game. I don't think it'd be crazy. It really just depends on what defense are we getting? And is the passing game going to take noticeable improvements? Because, you know, pretty quiet game from BTJ. He had the rushing touchdown, but only had one catch. Travis Hunter had six catches, but for 33 yards, so he wasn't stretching the field. I just thought the passing game as a whole was more disjointed after the delay. And I remember even I was watching a TikTok and it was somebody was breaking down Trevor's footwork and how this was on the radio, and they were saying that this is the first year that Trevor's been allowed to really change his footwork. And he went up to the coaching staff, and they never let him change his footwork. And so they're even comparing how his footwork was last year to this year, and even on the couple of the overthrows he had, his footwork kind of got away from him. So just hopefully, as Trevor plays with more rhythm and works the new footwork, because obviously I don't expect him to be perfect, and I know he's been working on it, but if you've been in the NFL for 4 years already and your footwork is one way, then it's not going to just change overnight without some kinks in the armor. So just hopefully he can continue to improve the footwork, keep working on that, work on the connection he's had with BTJ and especially Travis. And we'll see because Cohen even said we're going to see more snaps to Travis at DB. I don't know if they're going to take away snaps at wide receiver and put him at DB, or if they're just going to keep increasing it. Because my guess is he's going to want to just try to keep increasing the snaps as much as he can
Hmm.
without too much. They don't want to run him into the ground by four, obviously, but even if he can ramp his way up to a closer to a full split on offense and defense. So I think we'll just definitely get to see more snaps of Travis, which it's going to be a real test for him, obviously, playing against two of the best receivers in the league. So I'm pretty curious to see how it's going to work, but it's it's crazy because I can talk myself into them winning, and I don't feel as if I'm delusional. Which who knows? I'm trying not to get my hopes too high because I am the podcast pessimist here, and you're the optimist full of hope.
Oh,
So
so it's time for me to do my job as the podcast optimist, right?
yeah, you have the teal colored glasses on. I'm just
Oh, I need to buy Jack sunglasses. That's a good thing before it gets like too out of control. But I'm gonna leave us with two things from the Panthers game. All the penalties. This was a team that has always found ways to shoot themselves in the foot, and the team kind of did. Didn't we have like 9 or 11 penalties
nine
last week?
penalties, or
9 penalties for
which they
over
had a lot
100
of
yards.
penalties in the preseason and in training camp. So
And on the first drive, there was two holding calls where we were set up first and 20. But guess what? This team found a way to get points on the board despite shooting themselves in the foot. Now,
and it wasn't a
obviously,
touchdown, but you'll take points so you can take points.
exactly. In the league, points are valuable, especially if you can do that after two mistakes. You
And
clean
hey,
that
we
shit
even
up, and
saw
yeah, you clean
literally
that shit up, it's the
in the
sky's
Bills
the limit.
Ravens game, they had that Bills had that one quick field goal before with 1 second left, and they ended up winning the game by one. So even the smaller points can matter, and every
And
close.
And to finish up your point about Trevor Lawrence not having the best game, this is the first time in his career that everything else around him was working. Run offense and the defense were helping him out. This is the first time in his 5 seasons in the NFL, I feel like he's had complimentary football. Trevor Lawrence did not have to be Superman on Sunday, and we had to win the game just because of his heroics.
And
So
which is such a refreshing change. We're just used to seeing if the defense is selling, then especially there hasn't really been a time where the running offense was working when the passing offense wasn't. Pretty much almost every single time, it's the rushing offense is working because defenses are kind of playing off. So even though, like, I don't even remember the last time they've had more rushing yards than passing yards in a game.
I
But
would
hey,
say it was probably the Bills AFC wildcard game in 2018, which is
I don't
very
know
funny.
because they had like 200 yards total that game.
And Blake Bortles rushed more than he passed, which is, what a legend, the boat. But you know what?
Oh shoot, Gators might be doing something. I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
Ant.
no, yeah, you're kind of tuning in. Yeah, Gators defense has played well so far. But to be back onto the point, this
Oh, I
is
have the
a
real app. That's why
oh, you
real
do.
app be updating faster than life.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. How was he wide There was 10 yards within him. What?
I'm telling you, the real app updates faster than that actual game in person because I got that notification like 30 seconds ago.
What? Oh, it's called back. Never mind.
Well, it's worth. But yeah, man, just hopefully the Jags won't let us. Speaking about penalties, leading to himself in the foot, hopefully the Jags won't commit as many penalties, just have an operation. But okay, so I'm coming back 4 p.m. on Monday. I say the Jags just beat the Bengals. What are the three things that you think happened for them to win?
What do I think needs to happen for us to win? We need to number one, I think it's the most obvious point. Get pressure on Joe Burrow. Do not let that man have time to throw the football and make, the plays that we know Joe Burrow can make. This man went to Super Bowl for a reason. He's got weapons for days. All you got to do is just make sure he doesn't kill us at the end of the day.
Okay, that's one. What's the second?
Second, keep the running game going. I mean, it's kind of like obvious what kind of the game plan is. I think even Cohen said it in a press conference earlier this week where sometimes they feel like establishing the run is a lot more important than passing the football, especially in the modern game NFL where you have so many high-powered, high-octane offenses. Controlling the clock, controlling time of possession is kind of king in the NFL, so you can limit the other team having the football. So if the Jaguars can establish a run early, especially with the three back rotation that we think we're gonna have for the rest of the year, barring injury, I mean, I just feel like the game plan is just kind of set there. And then I'm gonna go for my third point. This has to be a Brian Thomas Jr. game because we expect Travis Hunter to be more on the side of defense this week.
Yeah, I mean,
If we need passing plays, then Brian Thomas Jr. needs to step up, you know? I mean, maybe Brent Strange and De'Ami Brown keep getting open on third downs like they did during like that first half of the game. So, we'll see what happens. Do you have anything to add to the 3 points that I think kind of could lead the Jags to a victory? Because I don't
well,
think Brian
one,
Thomas Jr. is having more one catch, like 11-yard games every single week. He could
yeah,
have had a
I
lot more. Meat was left
just
off the
by
bone, like you said
just
earlier.
by virtue of even schemed easy touches, he's bound to get a few just yards in his space. But going off what you said, one, I think, obviously the running game is going to play a big role in being able to limit the clock, limit possessions, but that's just the way Cohen wants to play as a whole. Like he wants to be physical. He wants to pound the rock when he can get passing yards when he can, but I think he's a running coach first and a
Mhm.
passing coach second when he needs to be, which honestly I feel in the NFL, considering the shift to passing, it's good to zag that way. So definitely the running offense. Two, I remember I was listening to JP Acosta on his new show, and he
Mhm.
was saying that one of the things he was focusing on was going to be with one of the Bengals linebackers, Logan Wilson got hurt. So I think they also have a rookie, Demetrius Knight. And you're saying that Collins is going to try to play with his eyes. So whether it's the jet motions in the running game or both, I think ETN and Strange could have, honestly, maybe even Quentin Allen, because they could also get him in the passing game. But whether it's the running backs or the tight ends, I think they could be a sneaky part because similar to how the defensive game plan for the Bengals focuses around stopping Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. If you're a defensive coordinator, you're thinking, okay, we gotta take away Brian Thomas. If Travis Hunter plays, take away Travis. So, they're gonna give Brent Strange one-on-one looks. They're gonna give ETN one-on-one looks.
De'Ami
So, and
Brown,
we've
yeah.
seen Diami also. We've seen ETN have success as a pass catcher, and Strange is starting to break out a little bit over time. So I think that's going to be second. And third is just, I don't know, not necessarily what they're going to do, more of a question is how much pressure do they bring? Because you don't want to just blitz, 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 and you have single coverage, which granted, corners have played solid, but at the same time, you don't want to be in single coverage versus two of the best receivers in the league. So how much pressure can they get without trying to blitz? Because I think Camp might show a look. I think it just depends if Camp's gonna show a look and just fake the pressure to commit offensive line, or if he's gonna commit and send five, six, seven players. So that to me is really going to be the biggest key of the game. But yeah, man, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited. And I'm telling myself if we lose, it's okay. But I really do think they could win. I'm just trying not to drink the teal Kool-Aid just yet, my friend. I'm trying to hold back. But
Yeah, so this is my final take before we kind of guess what happens on Sunday, or I guess tomorrow now. But tomorrow, one streak ends over another. We'll start with Jacksonville's. I mentioned it earlier in the week in the group chats that we're in, but
they've lost by Cincinnati both times by 3 points in Trevor Lawrence era.
yeah, and all bullshit has surrounded both games after the fact. The fact that after the first loss had like a double-digit lead or at some point during that rookie year for Trevor. And then after the game, Urban Meyer goes to a bar and was the beginning of the end of his time as head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't have to live through that again. Second time Jacksonville has played to Cincinnati Bengals. Um,
That was when
that was the Jake
died.
Browning Monday Night Football
When
demolishing of our
Christian Kirk
defense.
just tore his chest on a
No, it was
catch
his
he was wide
groin. It
open.
was legit his groin. He tore
He
his
was
cock
wide open.
and he tore his cock. Like what? Like how? It was like okay. Sure. And then throughout the game, Trevor was cooking. He was dialing up. Parker Washington wasn't set and got Trevor Lawrence killed basically by Trey Hendrickson. And it was beginning of the end for Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson. A game where the Jaguars could have been number one seed in the AFC by the end of it turned to the starting of our year and a half light nightmare as Jacksonville Jaguar fans once again, and everything kind of started looking up. And now this could be the end of Trevor Lawrence's losing ways against Burrow in Cincinnati. He's 0-2 against Burrow, one
I
in
think 0
Clemson
one
against
in college
LSU.
as
Yeah,
well, since
yeah,
Clemson LSU.
yep. And then, he lost the rookie year game against Joe Burrow in a fantastic Thursday night football game. But now, but now this is a chance to end it all. And for the Cincinnati side, ever since Zach Taylor has been head coach for the Cincinnati Bengals, also, Press Taylor's brother, so shout out to Press, that they are 0-6 in week two games since he's become head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, who we know are notoriously slow starters.
They
And
don't even
if
have an excuse this year.
Yeah, I mean they had their week one. They had their mandated. I called it the government mandated bad Joe Burrow week one game. And since I took him in fantasy for the first time ever, I finally saw what that looked like. It's like, damn, only like 9 fantasy points from Joe Burrow. I guess he really does suck week one every year. But maybe they got it out the way. Something's got to change from one of these programs. Did I say programs because I have college football on? Something's got to change from one of these franchises on Sunday. Javal, who do you think comes out on top on Sunday?
I have to be the pest, not even just because, but I mean, granted, like as much as I think the Jags have a chance, I think if the Bengals just show more of what they're used to in the past, then they'll probably win this game. But I don't know. I just can't take the feeling it's going to be a close game, regardless of who wins. Because if the Bengals aren't playing great, yeah, they'll be at home. Granted, like they played in Cleveland, but it's not that far from Cincinnati, so they probably had Bengals fans in the stadium there. So they'll be at home. They'll get a home boost for sure. Like I think if it was a neutral field game or a Jags home game, I'd be more inclined. But since I'm gonna go with the home team, Bengals win by a field goal.
You're saying Vegas is right, is what you're telling me.
I
Vegas never
or I don't
lies,
like. I think it's a one possession game.
regardless.
I mean, I don't think. At least I hope it's one possession. If the even the Bengals win, it's not like a boat race. But to me, the most dangerous thing for the Bengals is if the Jags have a lead and they can just salt the game away. Most dangerous thing for the Jags is if they're trying to have to blitz to get pressure. Because I know they def changed some pieces on the interior, but Eric Armstead, please, we need some like interior because
He
the
played well.
defensive
He
tackle
played well last game.
was like
He had that
okay.
one nice swim move, I guess. I'll
He
take that.
played fine, but he also did not play. Uh, he wasn't really causing a ton of disruption. So if we, this would be a game for the D tackles to break out because, like, I think Josh Hines is gonna bring the pressure. Trevon, we'll see if he gets some splash plays. Between all the D tackles, literally in the PFF grades, all the D tackles are like the lowest graded players on the defense from 12th to 16th. They weren't terrible, but they weren't really noticeably making an impact. So that to me is the biggest question mark. But can't believe we're really in this. Week two is already here almost. We got college football going.
You didn't even get to
Football.
ask for my take about the game on Sunday because I
Oh,
do
what's
got
your
to
take
take.
about the game, my friend?
I'll let you go on this parlay that I made because I'm not really confident. Maybe I'm just riding hot because I live bet the Vikings to come back after the Bears missed field goal on Monday. So I put a little bit back on a spread on a parlay for the Jags game on Sunday. And I added CeeDee Lamb receiving yards because there's no way that after that shit show on Thursday night he doesn't recover. So if you want free money, Shout out to Keanu, who is a degenerate, but he got me this good stat. CeeDee Lamb over 78.5 receiving yards. You definitely take that. But when it comes to the Jags and Bengals game, I got four things that I added to that slip along with it for a total of plus 38.26 odds, which is a lot, but it's a parlay. So first, I have Jamar Chase having a reception over 26 yards. I think he will get a big play. He'll have a play where it was more than the total amount of yards that he had last week. Which you know what? You gotta expect it. Jamar Chase will get his eventually.
He's
I think
gonna
he will
get
have a
his,
big
yeah.
play. He will get a big play, I think, tomorrow. I think that's a guarantee. I got Trevor Lawrence over 21 and a half pass completions just because I think they left plays off of the table and he already completed 19 last week, especially with the short and screen game to kind of hyperfixate on that stat. I think he will have more than the 21 completions that Hard Rock has for him. All right. And then actually back to receiving yards, I think Brian Thomas Jr. has over 80. Because, like I said, after that first week, it's just a rebound of the number one LSU wide receivers of this game, basically, to where, hey, they're not getting those amount of yards forever. All the round one fantasy running wide receivers stunk it up last week, for better, for worse. So I think a lot of those guys will rebound. And the last one, let me put this into perspective. The Bengals had what, seven second half total yards on offense last week against Cleveland?
Ooh.
Jacksonville didn't play their best game in the secondary, or not in the secondary, but their best game on offense in the second half, and they still won by 16 with
Sorry,
getting
my cat
pressure
is
on
just
Bryce
going
Young.
crazy in the background.
Oh man. So if you just go off of eye test and kind of logical thinking, my last thing, I know you're gonna be a little bit shocked that I added this to the slip, but I got alternate spread Jaguar 7.5. I put it the highest that Hard Rock let me because I think the Jags win by double digits in this game tomorrow. Just
I hope they
logically
do.
speaking, I know Burrow's the boogeyman for Trevor Lawrence. I know we haven't had good luck against Cincinnati. I don't want to say that we're due, but the fact that I think Cohen will get this team going early and often in a lot of games this year, I guess against a defense that isn't really good in the secondary. I mean, it's time to finally end this bullshit against Cincinnati. And what guys do it more than Liam Cohen and Coach Campy as they're calling Kevin Nealon. So I think we win by double digits tomorrow, and Jacksonville is going to be feeling themselves going into their first AFC South game of the season.
And if in the hypothetical world where the Texans lose to the Bucks and the Jags beat the Bengals, I'm just gonna leave it. I don't want to say anything else. I'm not gonna jinx it.
Yeah, that's just something to leave it on because that's a real world scenario that happens, but we'll get there when we get there. If that, I mean, that's the thing though. No matter what happens, I don't think we can record until Tuesday after looking at the Texans game, since that's our next opponents anyways. So we'll leave it at that at the pod. We're actually having fun talking to the Jags. I don't know when's the last time I felt like we had probably when Trent Baalke got fired. That's the last time we had like true fun, like
That
talking about the
that
Jags.
I was just I was in euphoria that day.
That shower beer after the news breaking. No, it was the shower beer after we were hearing that Cohen was going to be the head coach. It wasn't officiated until the next day after, but like that nine
The
o'clock,
the
10 o'clock
the
kind of.
flip from Cohen's not going back to Tampa to then everybody was pissed. We're gonna get Saleh to then Trent is fired, and then in the group chat when they're saying there's rumors that Cohen's coming back.
The fact that we knew about the secret flight too, that we couldn't say anything, kind of killed us. Because we got shooters apparently, at least like insider shooters. I don't know how we
What do
found.
you mean by that? You got to be careful now.
Yeah, but we got people in the know for some reason. I'm not.
When you say shooters, you got to specify now.
Yeah, no, we just got insiders. We know too many people now from our time doing this. I mean, none of we brought in a lot of reporters, so I guess we have a little bit of hearsay. We've in this podcast history, we have a lot to mute himself. But we've had a lot of reporters, so we kind of hear a lot of stuff. So if you're still listening, if we say something, just assume that somebody that we know that knows more than us kind of says it too. But I think that we're having fun for the first time in God knows how long. I think that's all we can really ask for.
I just a sliver of hope. Even though like I'm trying to be, I'm the pessimistic one. I still have some hope. I just think in general they're going to just look competent and keep it going and say that this is not the same old Jack. So they can just keep that going and just really start off hot because people are saying the toughest part of the schedule was the early part of the season. So if they can, just come out solid and out the gate swinging, then the back half you're looking kind of nice. So
Hey, one game at a time, right? Let's focus on
one game at
Cincinnati
a time.
first.
We're on to Cincinnati.
We are on to Cincinnati. I got nothing else to add. I'm just ready for it to kick off tomorrow. Probably get some good food before the game, and then enjoy my 3-day weekend before Apple launches a product because that's gonna be fun. Oh dear, I've been suffering all week at work because of this new announcement, but hey, that's what the job pays you for. Uh, but other than that, Javal, thank you as always for another fantastic episode. It's so weird being excited. I keep repeating it, but hey, I'm
I'm
actually excited
scared.
to see this football
I'm
team. I don't think I'm gonna sleep nervous tonight. I slept nervous last week too. The fact that I feel confident going into tomorrow is a scary feeling though. You're right. Now just talking about the confidence, like, damn, that's scary. We could feel good about a
don't give
football
me
game.
hope. It's literally just that Jeremy Renner gift.
Yeah,
Hope. Don't give me hope.
the end game. Yeah, the end game gif. Yeah.
And
Let's
you
see
just
if
can't go.
let's see if that hope is fulfilled by 4 p.m. Sunday when hopefully no rain delay because that fucking sucked last week.
That would be
I'm over it.
terrible.
I'm already over it. I'm already over the code blue last week, so it's okay. No more talking about that. But other than that, Javal, you got anything else to say before we end the pod?
Um, I took your advice and I bet CD Lamb over. Well, in Hard Rock it's 80 yards, but
Hey, that's fine. 80 is good.
I'm a little bit traumatized because I had Jaden Reed on my parlay and then he just died. But Hard Rock does not void player injuries, so
They don't. They're assholes. Seminole tried.
if something bad happens, I'm just only going to bet winners and losers for games because
Yeah.
that can never be voided
Money
unless
line.
there's
Yeah, exactly.
unless there's a tie. Wait, what would happen if there was a tie?
They wouldn't count. Oh, wait. What if you took the spread, right? So say
No,
it
I
was
just I
like,
just took I just took like the teams to.
oh, like
I
money
always bet
line.
against
Oh,
the
if it's a
Jags
tie,
to win.
it's done. It's like soccer. You have to choose
I
the
always
exact
bet on the
result.
Jags to win. I mean to lose. Like
Yeah.
I bet on the Panthers to win, and
You'll
I'm
take,
happy
hey,
that I
how much
lost.
did you pay for the Jaguars to win last week?
It was literally just like $1, but
Oh, okay.
I'm taking my sports betting the most responsible way, and I'm not putting more than like $2 on a single parlay.
I took Jaguars 7.5 tomorrow for the parlay, so that's crazy. As I said, I feel confident, and that's a scary feeling. I probably won't feel as confident tomorrow, but hey, that's the part. I'm playing with house money thanks to the Bears being the Bears. So shout out to the Bears.
All right. Well, yeah, I think that's all for now. We'll see how we're feeling by this time. Not even 24 hours from now.
Outside of NFL, I'll just leave it at this. Nick Voltemade, you big German bastard, I love you. You made me forget about Alexander Isak even just for one goal, and hopefully that continues against Barcelona on Thursday. Can't believe we're back in the Champions League. All right, but we'll stay in focus. Hopefully, we're talking to next time to a Jags victory. Like, subscribe. Javal, go ahead and plug your business once again, your big, beautiful
So
business.
yeah, if anybody needs any athleisure clothing, we've got bucket hats, dry fit t-shirts, shorts, wristbands, rig come stickers on the way. Check us out at
Any
y'all.
Jags colors yet? I feel like if you put Jags colors, I think I would definitely walk
Honestly,
in.
that might be mine. I was thinking of what color I want to do next, so I'm gonna try to see if I can do a teal shirt. That might be my next one. So yeah, but if anybody has ideas for athleisure, they want to wear a shirt, whether you're going on a run, you're outside, you're at a football game and it's hot, you want a shirt to be comfortable in, we got you. Y'allgymyet.com. Check us out on Instagram. Everything's the same, y'all gym yet. So no apostrophe. And yeah, that's my little plug. So
All right, Javal, enjoy the rest of your night. This podcast went a lot better than Monday, so have a good rest of your night and go Jags.
take care, my friend.